For those who don't know me, I'll give you a quick synopsis of who I am. I am a person that wants to change lives. I want to change lives through nutrition. By profession, I'm a dietitian. I have a company called Better Vessel, and I work with clients individually, fitness centers, all the way to corporate wellness. Texan. I'm always going to represent my Texas, but I've been here for about 6 years. So I love St. Louis. I love what it has done for my family, and I want to continue to make St. Louis the best as I can. The title of this series, why do I have 3 series, right? All things cannot be done in one given time. And anyone that has tried to do anything in life, it doesn't take just one shot. It takes a couple, right? I want to provide you guys with a breakdown of how to even think about how to eat healthy, how to start to eat healthy, right? What's the number one thing you guys think about when you want to make changes? What are your thoughts of like, how am I going, hey Justine, how am I going to do this, right? Your first thoughts are, how long is it going to take, right? Or, I just want someone to tell me what to do. Or, I just need direction. Or, let me just watch this documentary and get inspired. But the reality is, I can easily just give each of you guys the top 10 lists of the best things to eat, or the top 10 lists of the worst things to eat. But in reality, what do you do with that, right? What do you do when you're presented with just an application? How do you work it? Everyone at different stages. So you may have endeavors to, I'm going to stick to this program as much as I can for the first 2 weeks. And then what does it look like the next 4 weeks? What's like the next year? Where is that program, right? So we're all at different stages. And the one thing that needs to be understood as far as your foundation, the title of this is called foundation, because before you try to mobilize yourself to make any health changes, you gotta see where you're at, you know? And that's a true like self-reflection, self-assessment of, I thought I was there, but when I started working it, I'm not sure if I'm ready to be there. Or maybe it wasn't even the right one for you, so it was overwhelming. Or maybe your expectations are, because I saw this magazine that says lose 10 pounds in 2 days, I didn't lose my 10 pounds in 2 weeks, so therefore it's not working, it's not successful, right? Guess what? We're working off ideas that we implant in our heads. We're working off ideas images that we see on a magazine, on television, but where's the foundation, right? We're not looking at ourselves and seeing really where we're at. If we work on building that foundation where we're at, then we can start stacking on how to move forward and then how to make that really happen as far as success, okay? So if you're doing anything in life, let's say you're putting together a cabinet, right? Let's say you're baking something. What do you need? Okay. You need directions and instructions, right? Which tells you what material to get, right? Tells you how much, tells you what to expect, tells you what not to put in there, and then it tells you how to put it together, right? So if you understand that I need these different stuff to put it together, it will create the object that you're wanting to create, or will create the ideal meal that you want to make, right? So when you're thinking about, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to lose 15 pounds or gain muscle, you just can't jump in there and just say, okay, I'm going to do it, and I'm doing it, but you don't even have direction. You don't even have structure, right? So looking at it as far as bricklaying, laying down where you're at, everyone at different stages of readiness. We all know that schematic, right? You may, and it's all degrees to each one. You may, I heard about eating healthy. So guess what? It sounds good, but it may not be for me, or that may not be for me. Or, okay, my best friend, she's in here, she's making changes. Oh man, I'm motivated, I want to do it. And then you start doing it, and then that motivation it becomes wavery, right? Because guess what? Mentally, you're not there yet. And that's okay, because you want to learn how to create that foundation to be there mentally and make it really, really work in the future. How many people, and I just see out of raise of hands, and I know half of you people, so I know who's telling me the truth or not. How many people have started a program, and let's say you started a 30-day challenge? How many people have done a 30-day challenge and have been successful in regards to completely 30 days? You? Okay. So
8 weeks.
8 weeks? Okay. So, and that's, I'm assuming here, right? Okay. So let's say after the 8 weeks, you wasn't here anymore. What happens on week 9?
I fall off the wagon.
And, well,
I try that 9th week.
you try, you say, oh, I got this. I think I got it. I think I'm going. And then you try to do it on your own, but you don't have the tools, right? You don't have the motivation, right? Or how many people have lost the weight and then 2 or 3 months later, things started to kind of roll backwards, right? So guess what? That foundation, how much bricklaying were you doing? Like, that foundation is not there. It takes time for a foundation to be built. The foundation doesn't go overnight. You can't just pour water on it and it grows or it builds. You got to put in work. So think about work, okay? Work is all relative. You know, you can look at something overtaxing, something that's pretty simple. When you first start something, it's new, it's different, it's a challenge, it's going to be work, right? But the more you work, the more you get in shape. The more you work, the more it becomes part of your life. The more you work, the more it becomes less harder, right? So when you first start something, and I can just throw out some names, let's say Carrie. Carrie and I first started 3 years ago. She was all for it. I'm going to eat healthy, yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, that was her motivation. And maybe her motivation was in a different place. But she realized that it took work. And she realized, okay, let me take a self-evaluation myself. Do I really want to work that hard? Am I really ready to do that? And so what'd she do? She bowed out for a moment. That doesn't mean she failed. It just means she wasn't ready. 2 years later, she stepped back in the game. She was ready. And when she did it, we created a foundation that works for her. We made a solid foundation to where now she has something to stand on. Now she does things on her own. It's a completely different ballgame. And guess what? She's seeing changes, she's feeling changes, and she doesn't want to go back because she has that foundation, right? So see where you're at and see where you want to go. And understand that it's not going to be a jump, hop, and a skip. It is going to be some work that needs to be applied. The good thing is there is a level for each one of you. Wherever you guys are at, there is a way to create a foundation. And the foundation is just not going to be me building it or Doug building it. It's going to be all of us building it, right? One thing that struck me, and this is perfect timing, is the Olympics. Has anyone seen the Under Armour commercial with Michael Phelps? It's about what you do in the dark is what people see in the light. It's a video of him. It's just all about him. His training, his swimming, everything he does that we don't see. All we see is the creation, right? Him being the best swimmer in the U.S. or in the world. But we don't see all the footwork that he has done. We don't see that he dedicates his time to training and that while we're sleeping, he's pushing it to the level. But guess what? He has someone with him to help build that. You know, so think about don't feel like you have to do it on your own. You have your community, you have professionals, you have coaches that helps you to build that foundation. When you start laying your bricks down, let's say brick 1 is, and simple things I can say, but you don't know how to really make it to your life. Simple thing we all know. First thing you need to do, what? Drink water. What does that mean? How much water? When should I drink water? Want to drink too much water? Clean foods. What does that mean?
It's not in a box.
True.
It comes from the ground.
Yes. But what does that mean, every day, how do I eat clean foods? How do I eat clean foods when I'm bombarded by fast food restaurants, I'm bombarded by going to the grocery store and everything looks enticing and is on sale. Or when I'm with family and they may not have the best healthy habits, but guess what? I don't want to hurt their feelings. It's a holiday. It's graduation. I just got a promotion, right? All these different things, we lose sight of what clean eating is and how to make that really happen. It just seems like, okay, it's clean eating. How do I do clean eating? What if I don't want to clean eat all the time, right? So that's another piece of the puzzle. Then it's about, how can I even do this? How can I strategize? How can I be proactive? How can I know if I'm going to a place where I'm going to be away from home for 4 or 5 hours? I'm going to a meeting, or if something happens to my kids in the hospital, how am I going to create some sort of clean eating within this time, right? Things happen because guess what? Your foundation is shaking, right? So that's just life. Life is going to throw dents into your perfect world. That's what it's supposed to do. But the goal is, how can you create such a solid foundation to where no matter how heavy the wind is, no matter how much of a flood you get, you're not shaken. Like anything in life, it takes time, right? So back to the Olympics scenario. All those athletes that are out there, they're doing it because they put in years, at least 4, which not even 4, because only, they're 23, they've been training, working out half their life. They put in work, and it's consistent, and it's this motivation that they're not going to give up. They're not going to let anything shake them. They are developing a foundation for what they truly want, and that's to be the best they can be. Not the best that they see someone on television, or best that their parents think they should be, but who they should be. Everyone, you guys, when you're thinking about being the best you are, don't think about because this is what she's doing, or because what he's doing, or because this is what their definition of being the best is. Everyone has to define their own level of being their best. And perfection is something you should never strive for, okay? Because guess what? You're going to be striving for a long time, and you're going to find yourself disappointed, right? One of my clients said something profound, and it struck me. And it means it's so true. He said, you know what, Rashonda, what I found out? Him and his wife, they lost weight, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight. Now they're in the weight loss stage. And this time, I'm with them this time. And he said, you know what, Rashonda, what I found out? You never conquer weight loss. You never get to a number and then you jumping around saying, yeah, I done it. You never conquer it. You get to a weight and then you learn how to maintain it. That's the trick, guys. Like, once we get there, how are you going to stay there and not relapse? Don't look at, I need to lose weight or build muscle to get to this picture, to get to this number, to get to this body fat, and then, okay, I'm good. The more harder part is how are we going to stay there? How are we going to keep that consistency? How are we going to not gain the 10 pounds and then lose it again? How are we not going to get demotivated till we don't even want to work out anymore, or don't even want to eat healthy? Like, what is not wanting to eat healthy, right? It's not black and white, That's where it comes with the foundation, like having that foundation of once you get there, you know how to stay there. If you know how to stay there, that foundation becomes thicker and thicker. So what type of work are you? Are you get ambitious for the first 10 months and then you poop yourself out because you're just thinking you got to be the perfect person and you got to do it the exact right way? Or are you that person that want to contemplate about it and do extra research or make sure all your other friends are losing weight before you try, Or are you that person that, I think I can do it, but can I do it? That confidence factor. It's so many people that I tell them you can do it. It just takes time, patience, work. Time, patience, work. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by, I have to do it this way, or I have to do it that way. There's always a balance in life. And once you find that balance, you figure out where you can sit in that balance and create a lifestyle that will get you eventually to that point. But don't ever try to rush it, right? Take your time, build your coat of armor, build your foundation, and go forward. The last thing you want to do is stop. When you stop, you might as well be going backwards. right? So tell yourself when you're making these changes and you're in here working out, or if you're starting to get motivated by watching someone on television or watching someone on YouTube or whatever the case is, watching looking at magazines, the last thing you want to do is just stop and think about it. If you're out there doing something, whether it's you're choosing a salad at dinner time, or you're the one that's going to decide on the restaurant to go to, or instead of going to happy hour, you know, let me go home and do something that's more productive. I know what happens on happy hour. I'm not saying don't go to happy hour, guys, because I like to go to happy hour. Okay, but finding that balance, but don't put yourself in a position where if you don't do it this way, only other thing on the other side is failure. Okay, everything creates a balance. Most importantly, where are you in that balance? Okay, now for some people that have lost the weight, they get into this, guess what I'm saying, not a plateau, more of a mental plateau, to where they're just kind of going through the motions. You know, I'm just gonna, I'm there, I'm just gonna try to see how much I can get away with, you know, and then guess what? Just with any type of crack liquid, it flows through. So you just try to get away with something. What are you getting away with? You know, it's amazing how we psych ourselves to make concessions or just to say, oh, I can do this if I do that. You want to have a mentality of, I'm doing this because I want it for my health, not because I'm trying to make sure I don't gain this weight, not because I want to make sure I fit into the stress. If your mental foundation is more so because of your health and more just because you enjoy doing this, then of course it's going to be consistent, right? Discipline versus willpower. Anyone can tell me what their definition of, if they can tell me the difference between discipline and willpower?
Discipline, sticking to the plan, regardless of how you feel.
That's good.
Willpower is, it's something that comes when you have motivation and isn't there when you don't.
It's wavering. Yes, that's a good way to put it, Jeremy. Thank you. So let's say you're in a position where you have this brownie, this looks like a yummy brownie, right? And you have a bowl of fruit, just using a scenario. Willpower, you're in a stage of willpower, you have these two elements, and yeah, you're kind of going back and forth, and you're struggling with which one should you make. You know which one you want to make, but you're struggling between, I know that I need to start making changes. I know if I go back to the brownie, I'm relapsing. So you're kind of struggling with these two adversities, right? But guess what? You end up going to the fruit because you had the willpower to resist that temptation that you know is going to pull you back, right? So you went to it. It took willpower to do that. But when you have discipline, that's the next stage. Remember, everything's work in progress, so I don't expect everyone to have discipline day one. You work through willpower, and you get to the next stage of discipline. Discipline is when you're presented with both. You look at one, and you can do an assessment of who you are, what you want to do, and you know what it tastes like, and you know what's going to happen. And you look at the other, it's like, okay, that's better for me. I know I'm going to feel better. I know it's going to promote me making better choices. And without a second, that quick assessment turns you right. And you don't even think about the brownie. That's discipline, okay? That's a stage you would like to see yourself get to, because then you'll have that ability to apply it to other things in life. Not even just food. I mean, anything in life. You have that discipline where you have a goal, you have a focus, and that right there is not according to your focus and your goal. So guess what? It's not appealing. You can put a blind eye to it, and you're going for the fruit. And you put your energy, time, and attention on what's good for you, right? So that's the difference between willpower and discipline. There's no struggle, none at all. At some point in life, we'll all get there, hopefully, right? If not, we'll have a higher degree of discipline versus willpower. We're all human. You put something in front of us, of course, you're going to have those associations of when you had the brownie the last time, or who you had it with, or how that brownie made you feel. That's going to draw you. But when you start to recognize, okay, that probably is not worth it. It probably don't taste as good as I thought it when I tried it the last time. I'm not even going to go there. And you're repatternizing your foods to where you can appreciate this more than you appreciate that, that's less appealing. You know how they say all about timing, you have to be at the right place at the right time with the right people in the right situation? It's all about timing too, guys. If you're not there yet, give it some time and allow that natural layer of wanting to get there mentally grow. Don't try to force yourself into doing this, or don't try to create a deadline, or because it's a wedding coming up or it's a reunion coming up, that's going to be my goalpost. You know, we all have those. And it's fine to have goals, and it's fine to have short-term goals, but don't let that be like, we get into this mentality of we have to have a goal to reach for us to move forward, versus I just want to move forward regardless of what type of deadline there is, because you create a mental block that's your stopping point. I got to that point, all right, I'm good. But are you regenerized to go to the next point? So you can use posts as an advantage or as a disadvantage. You can use posts as creating realistic goals to get there, or you can use posts as I got there, I can take a breather till I get to another post. I had a client a couple years ago. She would create these things. Oh, I got a cruise to go to in a month. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. It doesn't happen. She go on a cruise. I mean, it just dissipates, right? And then she said, I gotta find another. Oh, we're going to a wedding engagement in May. For that one. And the thing is, she never even got close to it because her mentality was not there. She wasn't doing it because she just wants to be healthy. She wants to look good and feel good. And regardless of any situation, that doesn't change her drive and her non-drive, okay? But see where you're at as far as timing. See if it's the right time for you. There are a lot of variables. There's financial variables. There's time commitment as far as work, children, family dynamics, work. There are a lot of variables that will shift your mentality of I can do this now or I need to push back and do it later. You have to decide where you're at and where you want to start. I don't say keep kicking the can, because you're going to be kicking for a long time. You have strong leg muscles kicking the can, versus picking the can up, throwing a trash can, and saying, I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do this right now, as far as I hope this works, but this is the time that I'm going to do this. I'm not going to be in a position where, okay, if it don't work this time, I'm going to try next time. Like, there should not be a next time. When you're making choices, I always think about when you get to that choice again, let's say it's a weekend, okay? Let's say you have friends over, and we all know our friends, we do wine. That's just what we do, right? Let's say you're presented with the wine, and you say you're going to have 2 versus 6. Hopefully no one's having 6. But you get to a point to where you're at your second one, and then you know that you're used to drinking more. That's just part of the routine. And this is that point of no return. I tell people, when I tell clients they're with me, oh, we're going to go do 2. We're only going to do this and that. They're motivated, ready to go. But when you're in that situation without me there, with your friends there, and drinks, and fun, and your familiarity, and your comfort, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. But you have to get to the point where you stop and you actually think, and you think, what am I going to do this time? Am I going to do what I've always done and keep saying I'll do it next time? Or I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to make changes here. And that's a rough situation. But if you can get to that point to where you tell yourself, what am I going to do this time? That's going to help you to stop it there. The next day, that it wasn't that big of a deal. It's only because in that time, that's where it's a big deal. But that time has passed. So get to the point of understanding where you're at, and is it something that you can do now or something you need to push off later. If you're not there yet, don't fake yourself, because you're going to set yourself up, unfortunately, for failure. I don't have the magic pill to make you go there. Your friends and family, television shows, these health enthusiasts, whoever's in your life that surrounds you, we don't have the power to make you do it. It comes from within yourself. When people come to me, they're excited because they're like, oh, I'm going to lose this weight, and yada, yada, yada. And that's good, but I'm just thinking that I want to tell them, I'm the GPS, but I cannot, if you detour, I cannot get you there at the distance that you want to get to, for lack of better words. You have to have in your head that you have someone there to support you, but it comes with you doing it. I may see you once, an hour a week. How many hours we got in a day? 24, multiply that times 7. So guess what? The rest of it is on you. So that's why you have to see where you're at. That's why you have to see where your foundation lays, because you can't depend on other elements that's going to help you when sometimes you're by yourself. So it comes from within, okay? It is so mental. So, in theory, quick example. How many people have went to a magazine, Muscle, Fitness, Shape, whatever the different magazines, and found this meal plan that they saw a picture of a lady that looks really, really good, or a guy that has so many stacks of muscle, and this is the meal plan they follow? How many people got that, ripped it out, took a copy of it, and like tried it for a couple of weeks? How many people have done that? Okay? Not you? Not you, Mario?
I look at it, but I probably don't try it.
Yeah.
Not if I have to buy 10 new ingredients.
True. Or how many people go to, let's say, Google weight loss, Google how to start losing weight, or what's the best meal plan to lose weight, or what's the best structure to lose weight, and they'll try to mimic it because their efforts, or someone they know did a 15-day cleanse, and so they want to try a 15-day cleanse, right? How many people have tried that, or even tried to look at it and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is going to be the answer to me losing weight. Good to see you, Justine.
Bridal shower with cake.
Oh, awesome. Timing, exactly. The theoretical part is, this is something I think I can do. This is something that I've seen this picture, so therefore it can be done. But the application of it is where it stops. Understand, you can't apply it to you, because not only are we physically different, but we are mentally different places. If you get to a program that you pull off the line, let's say you have to eat almonds, chicken, and strawberries for the next 4 or 5 weeks, that's something that you think you can do for 4 or 5 weeks? Is that something you think you do after the 4 or 5 weeks? No, right? So the application of making these choices, you have to start off where you're at and what you're willing to do. What areas are you willing to cut? So when I'm working with clients, I meet them where they're at. Some clients, they want to go hardcore. I'm like, you sure? We bump it up. Some clients, we need to like baby step it. And we baby step it. Some clients just want you to tell them what to do. Some clients want you to explain to them what to do. And that's what's important, because depends on where you're at, depends on how we start to build the foundation. Christine, when we first started, what was your thoughts when on your day one you came in with me in nutrition? Like, what were your thoughts? Like, oh, I'm ready. Like, what was your thoughts of like how it would be, or what to expect when you're working with a dietitian?
I had no idea what to expect. I think Nicole, my sister, had been seeing me for a little bit at that point, and my mom, and maybe Megan too. I thought it was gonna be hard, and it was at first, but it got easier.
Okay. So you thought it was going to be hard, and it was at first. And so now, since we've been working there for 6 or 7 plus months, how do you look at it now as far as nutrition?
It's just what I do now. It's not so much
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. It's not like I'm definitely getting more disciplined, where it's just, this is what I eat to be healthy. I don't have that. I still have times where I lapse.
And that's part of life.
But
Yeah. But see, the application of it, like helping Christine, she didn't know what to expect, and I had to find out where she was at mentally. I can gather food information, what you like, what you don't like, seeing your schedule, but the whole time I'm talking, I'm gathering mental information, see, okay, how far can I push the button, or will this be too much, or can she learn how to embed this in her life? And then as we embed it, it becomes normal, natural, then we start tapering it and readjusting it. when you're there. If I were to give her the program she has now, 7 months ago, she'd be like, psh, I can't do this. But working with her, seeing where she's at, and start to build a foundation, now 7 months later, she is not as a piece of cake. Well, not a piece of cake, but it's a lot better than it was. So guys, bye. To close out what this particular part 1 of the series is, I would love to give you guys a recipe list, what you should do, X, Y, Z, but that's not going to help you, right? I can give you a bunch of fish to eat, but if I don't teach you how to fish, you know what to do with it, right? So think about where you're at mentally. Take time, take self-assessment, and see how you would like to incorporate nutrition in your life, how important it is, and if it's the right time for you. The next part we're going to talk about is how to approach it, okay? Now, that's next step, okay. Now I think I'm ready to start eating clean. I've seen enough tabloids. I've seen enough things in the health industry. I think I'm ready. Now, which way do I go? How fast should I go? What should be my goals? What should be my, what's the word I'm looking for? Everyone has like expectations of how fast they should lose weight or gain muscle. And don't create expectations, because that's when you really find yourself in a hole. Okay, so I do hope that you guys take the opportunity to come. It's not this Saturday, but it'll be the next Saturday, and we'll talk about how to approach where you're at. Figure out where you're at first, and figure out what kind of foundation you want to build mentally, and then how are we going to approach it that works best for you.